alcohol gel, hand soap. I met Rijks Academy. There's a talk and I will do that. I saw that on Instagram. I'm curious. In this video, I will talk about how do I trick myself to do art, or how do I convince myself that I do create art. Does this make sense? Okay, that's all. See you soon. And never forget, never ever forget.
And this is a text of Hari Isra Muhammad, a participant of Riwanwa collective, collective that we not visited but get to know this April during our trip to Indonesia. And I think this is a text very important to, for understanding how we try to work collectively. So yeah.
Harvesting before planting. Hari Isra Muhammad. She has completely forgotten her exact date of birth, but Pungmasi, who claims herself to be in her 70s, is sharp enough to recall teachings of elders from the time when farmers had yet to be introduced to the toxic pollutants that would reincarnate them from their culture. After more than 40 years, the remembrance of traditional ecological knowledge passed on by her grandmothers who lived in Pungmasi was mere... I'm done. was mere.
To take place.
In any case, the social and economic capital that had disintegrated in Salase as a result of the Green Revolution has been successfully restored through the natural agriculture. Farming is by no means a matter of an individual's engagement, but it requires a communal engagement. Any problem that arises during the process will then be discussed together, and solutions are worked out by bringing together each natural farmer's knowledge, including the one that is not necessarily related to agriculture. I will explain this further in the sharing edition. It is unprecedented in this era of chemical agriculture that farmers in Salase have been able to harvest up to 9 tons of rice in one harvest season. And as never before, farmers from neighboring villages come flocking to Salase to help each other to plant harvest together, and vice versa. Indeed, the para or lunbung no longer exist in physical in Salase. The wooden houses that used to allow farmers to store their produce in the attic have turned into houses made of concrete. Some villages had even sold their wooden houses to pay the cost of migrating. However, natural farming has revived in Para, which is now manifested socially through knowledge sharing, collective work, and the practice of glorifying rice as a blessing from Tung Puang Ta'ala, which eventually stored in Salase to its true meaning in ancient Bunix palace, a place that is important, that is meaningful as any other place in the world, a palace where the people in it can live in a self-sufficient manner and recap a harvest of their own land.
Thank you so much.
So now, and I met lots of interesting people and had a great day. Before this, I've been into a society which exists for 102 years. That's amazing. And what else do you need to be inspired? People sometimes ask me, what do you need, what inspires you? Have you met people? Have you seen any people? They're really inspiring. So I will cycle home and sleep, blah blah, but the door is not open, so I will go somewhere else. Yes, I found my bike. Now I'm in Amsterdam and cycling to the central probably 15 minutes. And I want to say something else. Right now I'm talking in public to the camera. It's kind of crazy, but I've been trying to do this for the past 2 years. So when you are seeing people doing things on the internet, it does not start in the day one. Like, it comes with practice, like anything in life. And I'm home. You know this recipe already. Tomato soup. We will warm this up. That makes you instantly more creative. And it's easy to warm it. I did create 2 more things that I claim it's art. And I've been thinking about what else I want to talk in this video. I want to show those and took some notes during the thing that I've been there. Okay. One of them is this one. Echt. What makes this art? So I like doing embroidery on canvases. And this is my shade of purple. This is also my shade of purple. And I put acrylic garnish on top of it. And I keep repeating these things. This makes me not think about anything else and keep creating. So a way to claim that you are creating art, I think it needs to be something comes from your inside. You have something, some urge to create. That's one. Okay, then that's one thing without drink. What's that here? And that's also embroidery. Look at this. This is like, if you know embroidery a little bit, it's not perfect, but some of the letters and how did I did this. If it's not art, I don't know what it is. And for example, somehow it's personal also. So I will say a very personal thing in a second. The meal is ready. And 95% of the time I eat really healthy, so it's okay to do this. What else I wanted to say? So my mom could and went to college thanks to my grandma. And she has been doing lace work to support her financially during that time. So I don't know any lace work. I never learned it. But in a way, I think it's about my personal stories. It's similar to something connected with my personal stories. Then I think it makes me feel easier to say that what I create is art. Does this make sense? Yeah, that's why I took some. The meal is ready. I think I will eat it and then continue with my notes because I'm hungry. Yes, it was delicious. Afiyet olsun. Şimdi, let's continue. What did I write? I like being around inspiring people. And then sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Because when everyone is super inspiring, that also means that everyone is feeling very special. That's really good, but they somehow a little bit sharp sometimes because everyone is really important in the room. And I find it really funny. I believe that we are extremely important and not important at all at the same time. And yeah, that's what I noted down. And I thought about, I don't know, that was not thinking about anything about this, but I noted down things that in Sumerian culture, in Sumerian tablets, you know, the stone stuff, clay stuff, people were writing down things that biliyorsun, neden öğretmiyorsun? That means you know it, why don't you teach it? And I find this really beautiful. And once you think that it was thousands of years ago that people were saying, if you know this, why are you keeping to only yourself? That's why I believe that you should teach what you know. That was not really thinking. So the collective was teaching people. Maybe that's why, I don't know. I'm the closest thing, the explainable AI. In these tablets, also after that, I had some another idea that in these tablets also, or all the old literature, people were saying something like, oh, the next generation is not really respectful, and then people are saying that, oh, they don't understand us and we are doomed, everything is going bad. And I will connect this to be being really special, and everyone believed that they will see the end of the world in their times. World was not, never ever was the great place to live all the time. We had really hard, lived through really hard conditions and events in the history, and overcome that, and then I can buy candles in a home that can have hot water when I open the tap. Does this make sense? So we are not that special. We are like, the only thing, I think the responsibility that you have as an individual is doing your best and being aware of your impact, like what you can actually do, what you want to do, what you can do. And then if you're thinking that, oh, that is something that I don't like, and someone change it, like, no one is going to change it for you. Why am I talking about this? So maybe it's about my art. And I like, there are things that bothers me, for example, the dating culture or environment. So for example, this is about overfishing. Do you see? There's a tiny fish inside. And yeah, what do I want? What do people want? I question things about these things. And I had the maybe switch that I said, okay, this is the thing that I want to create, an art. And it starts with that. I showed this in a video already. It's an envelope made of coffee filters, which is the only thing that I am addicted to, coffee. But I'm Turkish, so that's fine. I don't consider this as an addiction. So it says, I want you. And when you open the envelope, it says, to blah blah me. Deyse. Do you see? And yeah, I've been thinking about, what do people want? They want many things. And this does not cost that much. That's also something that I have some special glue for this part. And I've been buying a lot of different kinds of coffee filters to see the texture and which kind of corners, and I've been thinking about these things, blah blah, since last December 2024. And I always say the things that I want to work on. For example, I said that to people around me, but everyone is really busy with their own life. I will work on my art career this year. And from January, February, March, April, May, it was my birthday month, June, July, and now we are in end of August. And I've been working on my art career. Did it work out? I don't know. But that's the next step for me, is that like the things that I created using my creativity, if I can create monetary value around this and sell these things, that means that's not my hobby, because there are things that you really like to do, it becomes a hobby, but I want this to be part of my work. Then I think I would be okay with saying I'm an artist. At the same time, there is one more thing, that art economy, I'm actually really extremely curious about this. There is some person creates something and it worth thousands of hundreds, millions of euros. And how does this work? How does this happen? I'm really curious about art market. And then what I'm going to do, I will talk about this in another video. Everyone is, yeah. So we want to create this, and I do create this. There are some other notes that I don't understand. I wrote down some keyword. Non-monetary transaction. They, in the collective, they were sharing some way of working for artists. Maybe that was something like this. It was really interesting to think about. Because sometimes you don't need the money. I don't actually remember any occasion that I only need the money, because sometimes you need an extra information and you buy the information with money, but you don't actually. That was not a good example. So I will think about this. That's apparently not at the same topic. Yeah, have a nice day. This is how I convinced myself that what I create is art. And I will finish this, but at first I need to take a shower, because I only create in a special type of creation. If you are thinking about working your art career, blah 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 blah, you can always find ways to find reasons that why you are not capable of doing that at this moment, because you need this, that, blah blah. And once you realize that you don't actually need that much, anything can be a medium of self-expression, I think that makes the shift to creating art. Yeah, that was the. Sometimes you can do all the craziest things, unless you can do the. Okay, I will stop and think what I want to say. A warning. You can do a lot of crazy things, as long as you are doing not really crazy things at the same time, for people to take you serious. I think that was an undercover for me to do engineering, because now I know how to do mathematics and coding, blah blah, but I don't use it. And then you are too creative for engineering rooms and not creative enough for art rooms. You will be always somewhere in between. And I'm trying to, and I did, made peace with this. And then I keep creating. That's all. Yeah, all the secrets. Bye bye.
Baştan alalım. Bu neydi? Esas. Gerçek mi?
Gerçek mi? Evet. Gerçekten mi?
Öbürü neydi?
Gerçekten mi?
Gerçekten mi? Öbürü neydi? Gerçekten mi?
Bu da ne söylüyorsun? What zehye? What ne? Söylemek sen. Ne söylüyorsun?
Ya ikisini hepsini birden söyle şunu.
Ne söylüyorsun? Soru işareti var sonunda.
Ha.
Ne diyorsun? Ne dedin?
Ne diyorsun?
Ne dedin?
Şimdi dur, bunun önceliğini hangiye koyalım? Gerçekten mi?
Ne dedin?